taking a look at Kickstarter here. That's always a good way to start. Alright, so now you know where your Ana is, right? You can repeat that position. It's a little late, that's alright. Alright, so with this, I mean you're playing this kind of like a tactical shooter almost, where you're like clearing corners and right now, right now though, when your team is in a team fight over here, um, you could just grapple up to here or like on the statue or over here and get a better advantage at them, because right now your team is fighting and you need to hold this point so you can capture it, right? And so you should be helping your team do that instead of sitting down here. I know in a lot of games this might be something that you would do, but this isn't something that you really need to like clear every corner on. So you do this, but you should just grapple earlier when you recognize, okay, there's no threats over here where I have been shooting. There's no one in my LOS. I need to get to a point where I can start shooting at the enemy team right away and help my teammates put pressure so that we can cap a point. Yeah, this one's fine. I mean, don't shoot the Genji, he's deflecting, but... Okay, so now your team has capped the point, right? Um, I'm guessing you're looking for this Genji that's here, but you really don't need to. You took the point, right? You're on 43 health, just drop down, get this health pack, and just walk up with your team, right? Because now you're, like, there's no point to be holding back here, because if this Genji comes and he can kill you in one shot. I mean, you're at 43 health, and your team's all the way over here. So unless your Zen's gonna turn around and heal you, and I'm not sure why he probably doesn't know you're back here, because why would you be? You know, like your team is now pushing up here, so you need to be coming up here or over up on here to start shooting at the enemy team again. So you're not like this Genji. He doesn't like he's not gonna do anything, right? Unless you sit back here and let him go for you. At the very least, drop down there, get that health pack, and then walk forward with your team. Yeah, so all he needs is one dash to just kill you there. That's a nice switch to Ash. Okay, so if you're trying to get on there, yeah, it does have knockback on it, so when you try to get up to places, just turn around, look at the ground, jump, and then use it to get like extra height, and then you'll go backwards. I don't know if you can make it that high, but if that's what you're trying to do, then yeah, make sure you're facing away from the direction you want to go. Good job waiting out the DM. And now, yeah, you can push forward, start going. It's not bad. I think your biggest thing that I'm seeing so far is that you need to just rotate forward with your team when they're pushing, because they're kind of like engaging in fights without you sometimes, and you're coming in at the very last second to help, but they've already won the team fight for you. Also, this is just, I mean, this has been nitpicky, but there's no reason to use an ammo to shoot this dynamite, right? Like, the dynamite will explode on its own, and there's nobody around it, so using a shot, you know, that's just one less shot in your clip. Yeah, don't worry about the Valkyrie Mercy, she's not gonna, oh, she, so right now, just, yeah, I mean, probably just reload, right? You have 3 shots in your gun, just reload. Also, you're down 2 players, so you don't want to be too aggressive with your positioning here, and especially because your ball is not really taking much of their, yeah, so this is what's dangerous here, is if you're pushing right, when your ball is not, unless your ball is really making space in the middle of their team, pile driving, then it's alright to peek. But you need to be in a place where you can get away because they have more team here than you do. You guys have already lost 2 of your players, and they have a slightly closer spawn at this point. And if there's no one drawing attention, right, their Hanzo can one-shot you if he gets a headshot. Also, their D.Va can dive you pretty easily, or Ana can hit you from range. It's just a dangerous team to be peeking. It's a good spot to play. I'd keep watching that Mercy. You might have been able to hit another shot on her if you kept looking. I'd just keep shooting the ulting Bastion. That was 3 shots right there. He's stuck, standing still. Yeah, it's getting the Mega here is the right call. Oh, the Bastion's sitting right there too. Yeah, so you've already lost this team fight. Just get out. Just get out. Wait for your team. Like your wrecking ball's in, but he's not gonna be able to. Not now. You guys can. Yeah. Now your Zen's back. You can start making a little more aggression. I think this Bob's alright, but they have an Ana that can just sleep him right away. Generally, if you can, it's best to try to like, because they're at the point where they can just kind of back around the payload, right? Where you threw your Bob right here, and they could just kind of like back off, and their D.Va could also just defense matrix a lot of it. But they're at a point where it wasn't really do much, and it's hard for your team to push around this corner when they have the payload and this side room and whatnot. They have a lot of cover, so just if you can, often like throwing Bob in like places like here where now they have to decide whether they want to turn around and fight Bob or fight you. Also, a thing to keep an eye out is for Ana's sleep dart. If you see her throwing that, then that's a good time to throw Bob too, because they don't have a way to just instantly take him out. Yeah, so I mean your team's dead. That's what it is. Okay, so we're in Soldier now. Good job avoiding both of those. But yeah, you could easily just finish that up, right? So you peek here, right? He's not in turret form. You shoot a Helix rocket, right? I mean, he's lost all of his armor, right? So you can just mow him down very quickly because he has to turn to turret form to do any damage to you. I mean, your wrecking ball ends up killing him, but there was just no reason to not. I mean, if it was in turret form, absolutely, yeah, back off. But it wasn't, so I just would have kept shooting him. Okay. Okay, this is a bad heal station, right? Your heal station is a very long 15-second cooldown. So if you're sitting right next to your support here, right? And your Moira's here healing you, and you drop your, like, nobody can shoot you, right? You're behind this wall. That's why you came behind this wall. And then you have your Moira directly behind you. You have your Ana, so you have both of your supports healing you, and you still drop your heal station for some reason. Just when you're like right on top of your supports, unless you're at like 10 health, like you don't need to be using that. You have 125 health and 2 supports, so your wrecking ball's already dead, right? Your wrecking ball kind of through this point already. Yeah, you need to be very defensive here, not aggressive. That's a better hit station, but so it's yeah, your team. Okay, your wrecking ball's already back, so you kind of it's hard playing around wrecking balls that don't really know what they're doing, right? Because they're not really making any space. So you need to be always playing defensively, kind of like this. That's not like really your fault that you're stuck sitting back here, right? But yeah, it's at this point, yeah, just be kind of sprinting around trying to keep yourself alive when you're on low health like that, and then your supports get you up. So at this point, probably just focus the Mercy. Honestly, the Mercy's like an easier kill at that point than someone that she's pocketing. Also, you can see your Anna's chasing someone in the back that you could go help. I think it's not the end of the world, but you see that your Anna is chasing their Anna. You see her throwing this grenade at someone. You could easily just sprint, like, out of all the characters in your team, you have the most mobility to go in there and finish that kill and stagger their support. It's a good kill. But again, see their Anna. See how if you would have gone for their Anna earlier, you wouldn't have to deal with this now. But now it's in the middle of a team fight, and she's distracting you instead of earlier when. Very good tracking there. Yeah, that's something that you gotta be aware of. That D.Va remake, if you see her use her bomb here, right, that means that she's immediately going to have her remake ability. So if she's coming in to chase check you, that means you need to run away or run past her. Do not stand on top of her. Oh, and then you pop visor, that's, yeah. So, A, right, don't face check a baby D.Va who has, you know is gonna have mech call. Uh, B, don't pop visor on just to kill a baby D.Va in a 1v1. That's not something you should need to do. And the third one is just don't, you kind of like panic because you're not able to hit your first shots, I think, and you're jumping around and stuff. Just calm down and take the 1v1 on that, you know. I know it's frustrating sometimes, but uh, Helix rocket just went into the door. I'm not sure what that was aiming at. So yeah, if you're coming up here, I'm not honestly, I have no idea what you're shooting your rockets at because there's no one here. So maybe you just accidentally click your mouse. But this is, so if you hear the Bastion over here, you have two options, right? You can either come in and try to take the angle on him, or just sit back and wait and try to hold the off angle for it. I think the main issue is not playing walls here. That you get knocked up by his grenade though, so there's not a whole ton you can do. Because yeah, normally you'd want to just be playing the walls so that whenever he goes into turret form, right, you can just sprint around, but you get knocked up by his grenade. That's just somewhat unfortunate, honestly. Okay, now you play Tracer. I don't really play a ton of Tracer, but we'll try a little bit. Okay, so right now, this is not a good time to be engaging their team, right? This is something that people in low elo like really like to do with their flanking characters is just think like, okay, I'm just gonna go in and shoot them as soon as I get there. Like when your team is not engaged, you're not really going to do anything, right? Because they have 5 players right now that are not shooting at anyone over here. So all 5 of them are going to turn around and hit you, and you're not going to be able to do literally anything at this point. So yeah, I mean, you're just already running, and you need to work on reloading, right? At least I believe you still have 8 ammo here. And now that your team's engaging, right, now you're still running around. I guess they're not really, your Junkrat was just feeding, so there's that. Also, you're not doing anything from this range aside from telling them where you are. You're not going to deal any real damage. So now your team is engaging, right? Now you need to be going. Yeah, so I think if you just, like, your melee is going to be to finish people, right? Because here, if you get a second full clip, right, you have her half health. If you get a second full clip, just let yourself finish the reload and kill it, then kill the second half of her health. Because you already took out half of the first. Now she's not really moving because she's rezzing. But instead, you cancel your reload with your melee, and now she's already moving. So you aren't able to finish her. Your Mario Zoro events are actually finishing both of these. So, and I assume there was something wrong there. I don't really play Tracer. I don't really know what to tell you what else you could have done. Like, I don't play her at all. I'm not good at Tracer. Right, so again, your team's in, right? You need to find the target. Not really sure what you're shooting at. Alright, so you want to go for Ana here. Yep. I'm not really sure why you immediately recalled. So something I want to say is I don't think you entirely understand Tracer's playstyle, and I honestly don't either. But notice how you come in, right? You do like a quarter health of the Ana, and then you spend the next 10 seconds just kind of running around because you're not sure what to do. This is, you're just not participating in this team fight, right? So your team is still fighting them. You're still not engaging. You're still not engaging. Like, so this is all you've done in this fight is they already have, you know, like the diva killed. So the enemy team is pretty much on their back, you know, backing up. They have 3 people low. They have 1 dead. Your team already won this fight while you were just running around in this building unsure what to do. And then you just clean up, but they had already won the team fight. So I would just recommend, like there's not a whole ton of tips I can give on Tracer gameplay, but I'd recommend, you know, just looking up someone who does, maybe I guess on YouTube, and be looking for more. The one thing I can say is you need to be like when you come out, you need to be finding who your targets are, you know, and then just going for them while your team is engaged. This, I would say, that's you see a double-pocketed Junkrat is not someone you're going to get killed, right? Because you get him like half with this, right? But now all of these people are here, right? And this is the thing, you're trying to pick a fight with like 3 players here. If you let the Junkrat go into this room and the Ana go into this room and then try to kill the Mercy when she's the last person here, you're gonna have a way easier time than trying to kill. Now there's 3 people and you blink directly in front of their Junkrat, who can one-shot you at point blank range now, and it just does. Okay, so he pops the heal station. That means he's no longer one health, and you should just leave because there's yeah. So you're just in the middle of their team right now. Like I don't want that. All right. Oh, okay, that's for the default one. I was gonna say. See how like you're just kind of out here. Like the Junkrat has high ground. Your Moira's behind this corner. You're just here at half health, right? Just sitting in front of a DPS and a tank. Like their diva doesn't do much from range, but neither do you. Their soldier does. Their soldier does a lot of damage from range. So, and then you recall, and now you're back in the middle of their team, and you don't try to leave immediately. That's nice. That was a nice pulse bomb, but again, you're not leaving. Like you could have thrown that pulse bomb, left the fight, right? Gotten healed, come back in, but instead you're still standing there at low health, so the soldier just kills you instantly. And I'm guessing your team just cleans up this then. Yeah. Okay, so biggest takeaways, like I said, just be recognizing when you need to push in with your team. Um, like obviously I know you're playing snipers, so you just don't want you want to be farther back in your team, but it's at points where even your supports are pushed up halfway around the next corner and you're still sitting watching like back flanks that people aren't coming around because your team's already won the fight and pushing them back. So there were some team fights that I think you weren't really even participating in that you could have rotated quicker to help them. And then same thing with Tracer. Like a lot of times you're going in before your team fights, and then when your team fights are actually going on, you were just kind of running around, right? Like you need to recognize when you're actually getting value out of your kills during a team fight, and when you're just being the person who cleans up after your team's already won the team fight. Um, so that's my main thing with your tracer gameplay is I don't think you realize what targets you're going needing to prioritize when you're supposed to go after them, when you're supposed to engage the enemy team, stuff like that. Um, so that's not something I can a ton. Like I said, I don't really play a ton of Tracer. Help you with, but definitely watch some players on YouTube or something to see if you can find somebody that's really good at like target priority. I do know that like she excels at either um taking out targets that are already. I mean, if you're playing more of like a peel tracer with your team, then she's good at taking out targets, or even if you're sitting behind their team and waiting for someone to get like half health and then zooming in and taking them out and finishing them off. Or she's also good at just anybody that's out of position. I mean, someone that's by themselves, a support that's really far back, or someone coming back from spawn, or someone off on high ground by themselves. If you can get to them, whatever it may be. Um, just know who you're going after. You don't like po- pocketed DPS versus an unpocketed DPS. You're probably going to lose that fight 9 times out of 10. It doesn't really matter what the DPS is. And just also realize that your guns have like a lot of range fall off, so you'll need to be like somewhat close to people when playing Tracer, and then use your blinks when you're playing around them to get used to blinking around so that you're harder to hit as well when you're engaging with people. Um, so hopefully this helped